Have any thoughts?
Well, Paimon was thinking that maybe... Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
An interesting explanation. I was also considering this possibility. Amenoma Yuya is an expert on swords. He could have noticed some problematic details about Mr. Nagato's collectibles. Maybe he recognized a blade as a fake, or a well-known stolen item. Either way, after arguing about it, the two men agreed to hide the truth of this matter. They thought a fire would destroy everything. But then the Tenryou Commission began investigating and uncovered some incriminating details, so they fled to protect their secrets. But it's a far-fetched theory. I can't imagine how they would have been able to reach an agreement. One fact that I keep coming back to is that Amenoma Yuya is polite and well-mannered, while Mr. Nagato is introverted and passive. Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the fight. The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just what could have happened there? Right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, no other details that we've learned seem to link the two events. Amenoma Yuya lacked a key distinguishing feature of the attacker, namely that he is...
We thought we could get two birds with one...
Let's keep going. If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Naga...
Okay, but...
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse. There's still... Time to go. Wait. I hear something ominous in the...
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds that only you can... As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament, so...
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound. It's right around here somewhere.
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the direction it left in. It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. The remnants of the Tatarigami. Indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy may prove to be of benefit to our investigation. We should remain vigilant and approach slowly.
So it's an underground warehouse.
The force is definitely coming from down below. The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place, but the residue it left behind still hasn't dissipated completely. Judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a very long time.
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse by himself a lot.
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time. From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violent monsters, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Their interests become fanatical obsessions. Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he became an obsessive hoarder, amassing more and more possessions, even as he put himself in grave debt.
So what should we do now? Go down and take a look?
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside. If we don't open this door, we can move no closer to the truth. You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers than this. Relatively speaking, the risk here is trivial. Everything's buried in debris. I can't see anything. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
That was too scary! Paimon was so sure that the warehouse boogeyman was about to jump out at us!
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami energy source left this place. 2 ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. I fear much misfortune has already befallen them. Yes, let's go. If nothing else, it's vital. Quiet your mind and focus around you. One with nature. From this point, the trail appears to split into 2. The main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here.
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls! They're acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look. By the looks of it, a letter written on a piece of torn clothing. Well... According to this letter, a conflict arose because Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chase as long as he could, eventually stopping here.
So...
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters, and I'm afraid he may no longer be with us. Whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. There's nothing more for us to find here. Yes, right now we need to uncover some more important truths. If Amenoma Yuya is attacking other people indiscriminately, then the longer we take to find him, the more people risk meeting the same tragic end.
Right! So let's get moving!
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, fell prey to the influence of the Tatarigami. For a practitioner of the martial arts, the easiest desire to inflame would be their pursuit of further power and skill. All the clues that at first seemed disparate and disconnected, it seems that now we know the thread that runs between them. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the 2 men's disappearance, but also zeroes in on the attacker's identity.
Wait! You figured it out? So these 2 cases are connected after all?
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. I will only be able to confirm my suspicions once we've met him in person. On with the search. We must stay vigilant. At any point now, we may find ourselves in danger.
The wind knows me. Into the wind!
Why here? Is there anything?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination,
Show yourself! It's no use hiding anymore.
Kaidehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! So it is the same guy from before. What's your problem, huh? What could you possibly...
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Amenome... But what if instead of facing Amenome Yuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Now that you mention it, it is giving off a strange light. Whoa! Surely you don't mean...
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects. Then the blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind. Or rather, as a means to occupy Amenome Yuya's body.
You're sharper than I thought. Many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams. As a descendant of the Kaidehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time and a little faith. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, his skill, it culminated in his creation of me. He not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own. In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, also an irreplaceable achievement in the art of blade forging.
Can become conscious and control people?
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted one, but in all other respects an ordinary weapon. But that gave me the opportunity to take action. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from one person to the next, I controlled the minds of countless hosts along the way, each bringing me one step closer to my ancestral home. I seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power, the might of Ishin art.
So Amenoma Yuya was not your first victim. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that serve my mission. When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to
You're awful!
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse. And at long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenoma Yuya's Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come. Now, give your body over to me!
The wind knows me.
Submit to me!
Be still.
Submit to me!
That hurt! Into the wind.
You shall rewrite history! Join me and sever that divine light!
The wind knows me. Time to go.
Submit to me!
It's fine.
Join me and
Mind
sever
the
that
deluge.
divine light!
But the plan was watertight.
Clouds high. The birds call. Into the wind.
Do not stand in my way.
Your bluff's fooling no...
Lost. I can never lose, even if you defeat me here. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. The end result is the same. I will end this wretch's life before... And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but by any means necessary.
Your fighting style. It is indeed the form, but from your movements, I sense only hatred.
Really? You can...
As I've mentioned before, the form... Since the blade is currently possessing Amenoma Yuya's body, its movements express the... If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded...
Are you trying to claim that I am help? On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin Art's secret. In that regard, why would I...
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed accursed, now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes... After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now. Mr. Nagato had a habit of never touching it.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his Well, that brings me to my second point. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, but the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about any of this? I'm just what...
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed even if you were to sever that divine light. Is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired? Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere tools to do your... How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony between a blade and its bearer?
Silence, you blabbering fool! I must achieve my goal. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly. But you also
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing... I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not... It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the Kaid.
How stubbornly you stick to... I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state.
What? Surely you're...
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross once we have dealt with them.
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose...
Don't
do this, Kazuha!
This is the only way to save Amenoma Yuya. The Cursed Blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing obsessions. This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Amenoma...
But...
Even if things take a turn for the worse, we have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing to accept...
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. I agreed to this bet because there are... Now.
Kazuha?
I'm okay. I felt a little dizzy at first. It's all right. So far, this was as I expected. I will. Thank you.
What should we do next? Have you...
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between... If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice.
Wait a minute! Paimon remembers hearing about... Since the Takatsukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by...
All right.
What about Amenoma Yuya?
The blade says he'll let Amenoma Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his...
Are we sure this is a good idea? Okay, fine.
I wasn't waiting for you. I just happened to be resting.
Time to go.
The campaign begins.
Leave everything on this journey to me.
The wind knows me.
Time to go. Into the wind.
Fine time. The fairy. Let's get down to business.
The wind knows me. Falling leaves, adorn my night!
How are you feeling?
I'm all right. The blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone so long without proper use and maintenance, though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he can last.
Something else on your mind?
How strange. Rather than trying to control me, let's keep going.
Let's get down to business. Say no more!
One with nature. Into the wind.
Boom! Say no more! The fairy comes with a lucky
One
day.
with wind and cloud.
The wind knows me. How's that? The fairy.
Whoa! Something's up with the blade!
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. He cannot hold out much longer. If he keeps persisting,
But what would that do?
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not. Time to go.
Look out! Ambush!
One with nature.
Fall before me!
Clouds high. The birds call. The wind knows me.
You win this battle.
Are you okay? It looked like you were...
Yes,
The shine's grown a bit dimmer again.
perhaps this time we'll finally have a chance.
True form? Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of junk!
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi, much less the almighty Shogun. Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has left you battered and broken. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy. I've finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then you would still be able to wield, but regrettably we are nothing alike. I will never understand. The only one who truly understood you had already passed away by the time you were born.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
Here they are! Take them down!
Where do they keep... Yup!
Don't worry. I'll use my own blade. It's just more of the same.
Let me try my
One with nature. Into the wind.
And you!
One with nature. As one with wind and cloud. Into the wind.
You fought way better with your own sword.
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. Though we fought briefly together, no one knew anything of my story throughout my travels. I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you...
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No matter how hard I tried, I could not attain that perfect harmony that your personal... Too much time has passed. My physical state is poor and without proper maintenance. Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And what a magnificent blade it is. Perhaps I shall...
Actually, this is just a generic blade that I picked up during my travels in Liyue.
What?
Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but they are not everything. This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during that time. Plus, in the moment that I most needed it, I received aid from another power: skill, blade, determination, and desire. All these must be aligned. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by
I sensed it, but I couldn't...
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. But I do not know whether you yourself... I feel a great sense of regret for you. Since you embarked on a journey bound... The moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the only person who could have ever unleashed your true potential. And yet there was no way for you to turn your back on his ambition. You have known this for a long time. It is the true source of your
He gave me everything. How could I possibly... I said to him, do not worry.
Aww.
I believe our bet is now settled.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. Shine down! When I touched the hilt for the first time, a bladesmith lay quietly on the bed, his frail face barely visible under the moonlight. A newly forged blade lay by his side, listening attentively to his final words.
Wow. That
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything that had happened. The Ishin art had been done. He spent the rest of his life in the forge. Not to vent his frustration, he felt intense regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. His sole wish was to one day return his single, proudest so he instructed this sentient blade to find a way back to Inazuma, no matter how long or how. All he wanted to show was that they once shone brilliantly as blade and smith.
So that's the But after that, the blacksmith's intentions...
Right. I believe the bladesmith might never have known that the power he worked with was that of the Tatarigami. The hatred within that. This blade has committed unforgivable atrocities, but only because it lost. Yes, time would not wait or stop because of his determination. While the world moved on, he seems to have calmed down, though.
When I look back at the past, I can remember the day of my... I once told him that I would pay any price to fulfill his will, but darkness and slaughter numb the mind. Not only did I fail to fulfill his...
You are finally seeing reality.
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, but I still cannot bring myself to forsake his So, may I...
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the mix, too?
It has to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to... My physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess, should still be...
His attitude has... What do you think, Kazuha?
Let's hear it.
Thank you all. When I was first forged, my maker was already terminally ill. Alas, after that, he never rose from his sickbed again. Nor have I ever had the chance to prove myself in battle. My fights were devoid of any noble meaning. They were merely the next... You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in battle.
Oh?
I will know Mayuya and restore his consciousness. You must have plenty of reasons to both...
Understood. Then let's start by waking...
I see. I utterly despise him and his actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement, if a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I do not wish to be a mere victim in this.
There's no need to worry. We'll vouch for your innocence.
Thanks for your help. Who knows how this would have ended without...
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim... Time to go. Time to go.
This reminds Paimon a bit of the Crux Clash. Yep, we still can't let our guard down, even now. Still, even if he's way past the point of redemption, are you ready?
Ready? Okay. All right then. Successor of Ishin art, Kaedehara Kazuha.
Successor of Amenoma art, Amenome Yuya.
Honored to cross blades with you.
It is my honor also.
One with nature. The wind knows me. One with nature. Time to go. The wind knows me. One with nature. Into the wind. Fallen leaves, adorn my night. The wind knows me. Into the wind. It's fine. One with nature. As one with wind and cloud. The wind knows me.
Thank you for the... In your hand, his sense of savage cruelty has completely...
You also fought well. I'm sure he relished the There are a few things that I shall leave.
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
You need not seek my forgiveness. Nor do I have the right to forgive you on your victim's behalf. It is too late for all of...
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone, and not let them stain the legacy of Ishin art. I strayed far from the straight and narrow path, but the Ishin art still has a worthy successor in Kaedehara Kazuha. I beseech you, please understand this.
Yes. I too trust Mr. Kaedehara to do the right thing.
Thank you, successor of Amenoma art.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. Maybe we can go back there together.
What does he want to go there for?
I'm not sure, but I think that all this is about to come to an end.
Oh, it's Yuya!
I am sorry to have troubled you. It's all thanks...
A prized Ishin blade. Turned weapon. considering their forging philosophy. But I have some good news as well. Ryuji from the Bonton
Really?
Yes. Badly wounded. And now that Yuya is back, it seems...
I think I know what you want to do.
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade...
Yes. He said he wants to take control of me for a brief moment.
What? No way! Hasn't it learned its...
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. I have decided to let him do it.
But... Guess there's nothing we can say to change your mind, huh?
Thank you. I will explain my reasons later. Okay. I am ready. Let us begin. Please, stay true to your promise.
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes. The cost is my entire consciousness. You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his final wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I am ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Ishin. This name is now yours to keep.
Rest in peace.
So, that's why he said it had to be done in that order. His consciousness will disappear forever after fulfilling the bladesmith's wish.
Kagotsurube Ishin. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions. Only in the final moments, before his consciousness...
Seems like he really wanted to fulfill his maker's wish.
The same fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep going forward also fueled the stubborn determination that, speaking for myself, I'd rather see him recognize and atone for his mistakes than see him punished for them. I understand. Perhaps this is a flaw in my person. Hearing his wish to rival the divine light touched something inside of me. Just your quest to face the gods and trace your sibling inspires me in the same way. After everything I've seen, perhaps these pursuits fascinate me a little more than they should.
Oh, Kazuha.
I will continue to support you from this point on. Know that you will have my assistance whenever you need it.
Wait! Shouldn't we also go update Kujo Kamaji?
Oh, you're right. We need to tell him about the findings of our investigation. And it's also time to give him a response to the offer he made me. Time to go. One with nature. Time to go.
What other monumental changes could be made?
Into the wind!
You've returned. I hear that the issue has been resolved. Though this was a treacherous... The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse. The investigation into Amanome Yuya should conclude soon.
Wow, you sure kept your ear to the ground.
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishin. A weapon crafted using a long-lost blade forging art of the Kaidahara clan. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study and pass on the secrets of Ishin art. And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations, learning more about this blade as I go.
I see.
The Kaidahara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths, so it is only proper for me to continue on this path. Were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the shogunate and Sangonomiya. That would not suit me.
You misunderstand. That was most...
I am aware, but I still desire to continue walking my own path.
Very well. I can understand. Then let's pretend... However, if you should ever change your mind or find yourself in need of the show...
Great. Thank you for your generosity.
Where will you travel to next, Kazuha?
I'll probably take to the seas with Captain Beto again for now. As for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me. Fallen leaves, adorn my night! The wind knows me. Into the wind! one with nature. Wherever in this world I roam. I carry memories of my home. Into the wind! Windstrider!